Well, thank you very much for joining us on this February webinar. We're about to begin. Today we'll be featuring our partner Forbidden Technologies, who will share with us some valuable information on their Forscene platform. We'll also be recording this webinar and we'll be placing it on our website over the next coming days. We'll be monitoring our Twitter feeds. You can tweet us using the hashtags FileCatalyst Webinars or Forscene Pro. You can also use both. So just a bit of an introduction. My name is Elton. I'm the Indirect Channel Manager for FileCatalyst. I'm responsible for all partnerships from an ISV perspective as well as channel. Thank you once again, for joining us in this partner showcase. This webinar will show you how FileCatalyst can help you accelerate the ingestion as well as distribution of content within Forscene. We usually run through these webinars on a regular basis to share with you our partner solutions and show how we work together. A bit about FileCatalyst. We're an Ottawa-based software company. We've been around since the year 2000. We've always provided file transfer solutions, and since 2004, we've been focusing on accelerated file transfer solutions. We are an Emmy award-winning company, and our products are horizontal. They're a good fit for any industry who needs to, reliably, securely, and effectively move data over the WAN, all while doing it in an efficient manner that is accelerated and maximizing your bandwidth. The verticals we sell into include broadcast and media, enterprise, oil and gas, medical, and so on. Some of our customers, in the media and broadcast space especially, are NBC, the Saturday Night Live, Jimmy Fallon, Sunday Night Football, Harpo, CBS, DreamWorks, Time Warner, BBC, Bell Media, ZTV, and Al Jazeera, to name a few. Before I hand it off to Jason, I would like to let you know that we'll be, again, monitoring this our Twitter feeds during this webinar. At this point, I would like to introduce Jason Cowan from Forbidden Technologies, who will be a panelist on this webinar. Jason, over to you.
Thanks, Elton, for the introduction. So my name is Jason Cowan, and I'm the Director of Business Development for Forbidden Technologies. I'm responsible for all partnerships and business development activities. Firstly, our thanks to FileCatalyst for inviting us to participate in the webinar. Firstly, an important clarification between Forbidden and Forscene. Forscene is the company. Forscene is our professional broadcast product. Look out for our consumer product, EVA, spelled EVA, launching in a few months. Forbidden is a London-based software company established in 2000 and listed on the AIM London Stock Exchange. The product Forscene was launched at RBC 2004, initially as a web-based review and approval tool, and had its first production and ITV project using the platform in 2005. So 10 years providing cloud-based production tools.
You can be using the app.
Forscene is a logging, search, editing, review, and publishing platform. Elton, are you getting a bit of feedback or a bit of background noise?
Yeah, I am. Let me see if, yeah, I think so. I know what happened.
I don't think so, but...
Okay. Elton, you still there?
Jason, you can go ahead. Sorry about that.
Okay, go for it. So Forscene is a logging, search, editing, review, and publishing platform available as software as a service and accessible through a standard web browser over the public internet connection. Sectors we sell into include broadcast post, education, news and sport. Our customers include post houses, the likes of Envy and Evolutions here in London, production holding companies like Shine, Shed, the All3 Media Group, and broadcasters including ITV, BBC, Channel 5, and platform providers which are typically in the sports space, companies like Delta Trade. So back to you, Elton.
Thanks, Jason. So on the agenda for today, we'll walk through an overview of the FileCatalyst protocol, and then we'll talk about the FileCatalyst ISV partner ecosystem. I'll then hand it off to Jason. He will give us an introduction to Forbidden Technologies as well as the product Forscene. I will take over and give you a brief overview on the FileCatalyst Direct solution. This is the solution that was integrated into Forscene. I'll then hand it back to Jason, and he'll talk about integration, and I'll provide a few comments on that as well. And then we'll have some time for Q&A at the end. As you can see, a lot of interesting topics to be covered today. So please stay with us. So FileCatalyst. So what FileCatalyst do, we provide an enterprise-grade software solution that allows movement of large data around the world. It is a patent-pending technology that allows for accelerated file transfer using a unique UDP-based approach. FileCatalyst simplifies complicated file transfers for the enterprise end user. FileCatalyst has easy-to-use tools with an intuitive user interface. FileCatalyst also provides all the tools for integrating its technology into other products as well as existing enterprise infrastructures. FileCatalyst provides all the management, security, and monitoring tools required to ensure data is moved efficiently, securely, and reliably across corporate networks. The FileCatalyst solution is also available on all major cloud vendors such as Amazon, OpenStack, Windows Azure, as well as localized regional cloud providers through the cloud marketplace. So here's an overview of FTP as well as TCP. So what is TCP? TCP has been around a really long time. TCP is the underlying protocol for most applications we use on a daily basis, emailing, browsing the web, as well as FTP. TCP powers the internet. It was built well into the 70s and has been around since then. It has been built for sending smaller data though. It was never designed to send large data. However, it is a protocol that handles data with a focus of reliability, error checking, congestion control, and making sure the data is intact, however, not with speed in mind. So it's great for sending small amounts of data, not large. Here's an example of how TCP works. TCP sends data in a very serial process. The sender will send a small amount of data, a few packets, and wait for an acknowledgement of all the sent data before proceeding to send more data. This makes TCP a very chatty protocol. When we say chatty, we mean that in the sense there's a lot of waiting and a lot of talking, but not much data transfer. With FileCatalyst, the sender will break down the file into blocks and the blocks into packets. We number each of these packets and send as many as we can on the network based on your line speed. Since the packets are numbered, the receiver will only request the packets that are missing opposed to acknowledging all the packets. This process eliminates the dead air on the line, ensuring the entire link is maximized. During the transfer, the sender and receiver will also monitor the network for dropped packets and latency spikes. When this happens, it means that the sender is sending faster than what the link can handle. This is known as congestion. FileCatalyst has a congestion control algorithm built into the protocol to ensure oversaturation is not encountered and other applications running on the same bandwidth are not starved for bandwidth. The congestion control can also be tuned based on priority of the file transfers. In addition, the congestion control algorithm can instantly detect the link capacity and have a transfer start at that rate. Here's a table that shows the bandwidth improvement with FileCatalyst. We have two scenarios here, one using a 1 gigabit connection and the other with a 10 gigabit per second connection. The comparison with what's showing over here is between FTP and FileCatalyst. If you look at transferring a 10 gigabyte file from LA to New York on a 1 gigabit per second connection, where the RTT, which is the latency, is around 50 milliseconds, you'll notice that FTP will take you around 5 hours to 6 hours. With FileCatalyst, we can transfer that file in 1 minute and 24 seconds. The same applies if you're transferring a 10 gigabyte file from LA to Rio. With an RTT of 130 milliseconds, FTP will take you around 15 to 16 hours, whereas FileCatalyst will take the same 1 minute 24 seconds. Looking at a 10 gigabits per second, we are able to transfer a 10 gigabyte file between LA and New York in 8.4 seconds, and much like between LA and Rio in 8.4 seconds. So as you can see, we're immune to latency and packet loss. So in a nutshell, FileCatalyst will play fair on your network. FileCatalyst can handle and transfer files up to 10 gigabits per second in a single stream. FileCatalyst can be configured to transfer huge amounts of small files efficiently. FileCatalyst can also handle large files. In addition, FileCatalyst has features to reduce the amount of data sent across the wire. Compression on the fly will compress data in transit and decompress the data before it's written to disk. Incremental delta feature will ensure only parts of the file that are changed are being transferred. FileCatalyst offers a secure, reliable, and managed transfer with the ability to automatically resume broken transfers. FileCatalyst has automation tools as well as a strong SDK, which can be used for integration into other products. FileCatalyst also has a central management that provides a bird's eye view of your entire deployment. Now let's take a look at our FileCatalyst ISV partner ecosystem. Here's a list of some of our partners. The FileCatalyst technology can be integrated into any software hardware out there that has a need for file transfer. FileCatalyst has an extensive suite of APIs that can be used in any type of integration. We integrate with cloud vendors like Compute.Next, media asset managers like Forscene, storage vendors, QC applications, media workflow engines, as well as playout systems. Now I'm going to hand the mic over back to Jason, and he will give us an introduction to Forscene. Jason, it's all yours.
Thanks, Elton. So what is Forscene? In 2004, Forscene was launched as a web-based review tool. At that time, typically ingesting tapes, transcoding into our own proprietary codec, uploading that to the Forscene cloud to enable users to access their media via a standard web browser. We've moved on certainly significantly since then, taking into account our client requests and our own understanding of where we felt the post-production market would move. Gradually, we have added logging, search, simple rough cut edit, through to what we have today in a comprehensive timeline with advanced editing features including multicam. As shown in our diagram, acquisition is all about getting your media into the Forscene platform. This could be watch folders, scanning a local drive, to running a Forscene VM on Amazon to ingest a live stream which arrives in Forscene as a growing file. We also support ingesting third-party metadata from products like Sony XM Pilot and our partners Timecode Buddies, which have an on-location app. Once the media is in Forscene, it's all about collaborative experience, whereby users can be set up according to their task and the interface is presented to them fitting the task at hand. For example, a reviewer only gets a play window with commentary tracks. An exec certainly doesn't want a complicated timeline with advanced layout. Within Forscene, users log their media, making it searchable, and edit produces prep work for an online editor, typically finishing in a third-party NLE. In that case, EDLs are exported back to the third-party NLE for conform. In many of our sports workflows, the highlights are packaged in Forscene, and we do the conform and publish typically to a client CDN. To manage users, media, third-party applications within Forscene, we launched our Forscene MAM in December last year, which is represented as the pink layer in the diagram, which is basically an overarching control application for the entire platform. So to give you a sense of how Forscene is used, I've chosen 3 client examples to talk through. So the first here is an example with our client Envy, which is a post house in London, who would typically use Forscene on large-scale post projects. A production like Gold Rush for Discovery typically shoots about 3,000 hours of source content for a series. Envy ingests all this media into an Avid ISIS. We have a Forscene server installed on-premise with read access to the workspaces on the ISIS. We automatically scan the workspaces, typically MXF files, and new content is transcoded and uploaded into the Forscene cloud. In this example, users are both internal at the post house and external at the production office, or sometimes on location, or people just working from home. The users working externally are typically loggers working from the production office, entering the relevant metadata, enabling the search process to be much quicker. You can imagine searching for one shot in 3,000 hours of source files. Best you've logged it pretty well. You also have execs that want to see dailies or look at cuts created in Forscene. All these users are logged into Forscene through a web browser and getting access to their content from the Forscene cloud. Users at the post house are typically edit producers, working in conjunction with the offline editors. In this case, Envy makes Forscene available to the edit producers alongside their Avids. The edit producer cuts simples or American term string outs and pass an EDL, in this case an AAF, back to their Avid editor, who imports the EDL, which links back to the original source in Avid. This is an extremely effective team effort that saves our clients many hours and often days in the offline process. Additionally, the Forscene users within the post house are not getting their content from the Forscene cloud. As you can see in the diagram, they are being served from the on-premise Forscene server, which is beneficial to the client like Envy, who typically have about 70 Forscene concurrent users per month. They don't want all of these users going back out to the cloud. It's much better for them to obviously serve it up over the local LAN. So the second The second workflow here is also a long-form entertainment production. However, this time our client was Keo Films, who was shooting 7-camera reality show in Bangkok for BBC Three, aptly named Bangkok Airport, which is currently showing now. The workflow here is the data wrangler backed up the cards that are shot on the cameras each night onto storage in the production office in the airport. A Forscene server was attached to that storage on location, and as we do with our normal post-house workflow, we scan the drives. But on this occasion, from the original native camera format, as opposed to transcoded MXF files, and uploaded the Forscene proxies to the cloud. The post-production team in London could immediately start viewing, log, prep the offline edit process. Critically, the London team could also send timely feedback to location regarding storylines and simple things like additional cutaways or pickups that may be required in post. Every few weeks, the backup drive with the original high-res source was shipped back to the post house, and in this case ingested into EditShare. EDLs were then exported from Forscene and relinked in the Avid for finishing. All the prep and the grunt work was basically completed within Forscene, saving an enormous amount of time and adding value to the production process while they were still filming. Lastly, I've taken one of our sports clients. So this is certainly our fastest growing market. After our success during the London Olympics being used by NBC, Delta Tray contracted Forscene for a number of their highlights packaging requirements, replacing their traditional Final Cut Pro workflows. Forscene has been contracted by Delta Tray for a third year running on European tour, editing and publishing workflow. This workflow is all about fast turnaround subclipping and highlights packages for mobile and web distribution. Delta Tray downlink 2 satellite feeds from the tour at their offices in London. We have Forscene servers installed, ingesting the live SDR feeds from their router, generating an agreed mezzanine format, and simultaneously generating the Forscene proxy and uploading that to the cloud. We can handle growing MXF files, a variety of IP streams, and have a specific integration with our partner EBS for sports ingest. From a production perspective, a team of editors working in Forscene can cut highlights packages and finish their pieces 100% within Forscene, including graphics and voiceover. In this workflow, it's all about speed, so once the editor has their sequence approved, it's dropped onto one of many publishing options available within the Forscene interface, dependent on the destination required. So for example, some sequences are specifically cut for the European Tour website or their YouTube channel or for Newswire services. Forscene does the conform under real time. Against the mezzanine, we hold and publish what's required. So just to recap, in December 2014, we released our new interface, including our MAN. Forscene is sold as software as a service model, pay as you use. We are additionally working with certain clients on licensing deals that are basically an all-you-can-eat model for an event or set period. Forscene is a true cloud-based service available anywhere with a modest internet connection. We integrate with leading technology brands. I'm excited about our relationship with FileCatalyst. Going forward, we are going to become the story editor's tool of choice. In sport, we have made great inroads through partnerships and fast turnarounds, highlights packaging, and intend in growing that substantially in 2015. Lastly, we have been to date mostly known within the UK market. Our aspirations are truly global. However, our immediate focus is EMEA and North America. Hopefully that hasn't put everyone to sleep. So Elton, you can pick it up again.
Thanks, Jason. No, it hasn't, because there was a lot of very interesting workflows you've described, and definitely Forscene can be used in a number of different ways and to cover different scenarios and different workflows out there in the media and broadcast space. That's really cool. But yeah, no, thanks a lot for that intro, Jason. Now we'll take a look at FileCatalyst Direct. This is a product that has been integrated into Forscene. So FileCatalyst Direct, this is a point-to-point file transfer solution requiring software at both endpoints, hence a server-client model. Our client applications include the hot folder, which allows you to perform automated and scheduled transfers with folder synchronization. We have FileCatalyst Express, which is a desktop client, which allows you to perform ad hoc manual file transfers. It's much like your standard FTP client, but with acceleration built into it for uploads and downloads. We have our web-based technologies. We have Java applets as well as our transfer agent, which can be embedded into any web page to offer either upload-only capabilities, download-only. And we also have headless applets that you can use to build your own interface on top of, however, still leverage the acceleration technology. As mentioned, we have a strong suite of APIs that can be used for integration. And lastly, we have our mobile clients for iOS and Android. Now that you've heard about FileCatalyst Direct, I'll hand it out back to Jason. Tell us how FileCatalyst is integrated into Forscene. Jason? I think so. You're on mute, Jason. Oh.
Thanks, Elton. That's quite helpful. So we have broken this into two parts. First being what we will be available for BVE London at the end of this month. Any existing Forscene client with an on-premise Forscene server in 2 or more locations will need to add a FileCatalyst server alongside Forscene. The workflow would be selecting clips or sequences within the Forscene man, and through our API integration with FileCatalyst, the selected clips will be moved to the specified location using FileCatalyst's acceleration technology. Once the clips have arrived at the destination, the Forscene server will ingest the clips. Now the high-res can be accessible from either of these client locations. In addition, FileCatalyst can be used to move the original high-res file to any other Forscene location, wherever that might be. So looking forward, our clients have expressed interest in 2 workflows. I'm just going to let Elton run through those.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. Yeah, so firstly, by adding to the workflow, we've just run through. However, we'll be exposing the ability for Forscene EDLs and dropping into the hot folder. So in this case, high-res clips associated with EDLs are transferred. This saves the user that having to individually transfer clips or transferring clips that are not related to the edit. So the idea is, a user can select a clip, specify another location where they want to send it to, and what happens, FileCatalyst will take that location of the clip, move it across in an automated fashion. The second one is, for the ability for a user who's working with Forscene to be able to download, the clips to their local machine. And this way, through the, Forscene interface, a user can select a file, and they can basically specify they wish to download the original high-res, so they can just click on the link on the file, and what happens through the interface will expose the ability for the user to download that file to their local machine. So Jason, back to you. Jason?
Sorry, Elton. From a Forscene perspective, over 40% of our entertainment clients have multiple Forscene servers in geographically dispersed locations. The need for clients starting post in one location, then moving to another is increasing. Offline in one city, online in another is becoming a very common thread. The need to move all or part of the original source is increasing, and we can see that as a great opportunity. The on-location workflow example I discussed with the Kia Films slide is now regularly used for Forscene workflow. Naturally, the clients now want the original source moved from location to post quicker than a flight or a courier or something like that is going to be, plus the cost associated with that. We feel jointly that this will be a cost-effective offering from Forscene and FileCatalyst, enabling only the clips you have in your sequence being moved for online engraving and not all your takes. So your outtakes don't need to be moved, only the clips that you've actually selected within your sequence. Both products have been in the market for more than 10 years now, so we believe we are certainly tried and tested. We will have an introductory offer available at BVE London for early adopters, and we're looking forward to advancing the integration based on client feedback post NAB 2015, where we will both obviously have stands and participating in a range of activities there. So hopefully everybody can come see us at BVE in London towards the end of this month. If not, and you've got a lot of US clients on the call, then obviously NAB is the time, and hopefully we can catch up then.
Thanks, Jason. Yeah, and at this point, I would like to, invite our audience to ask any questions you may have, There's a question panel on the GoToMeeting webinar pane. As questions come in, I'll read them out so everyone can hear the question, and then either Jason or I will answer them depending on what question is asked. So, Jason, we have a question coming in. The question is basically through the in post BVE through the Forscene interface, will we only allow web-based, or will we also support standalone clients being able to automate downloads from the Forscene server? So I'll answer part of that, and Jason, if you want to jump on after that, you're welcome to. So yeah, so to the Forscene interface, since the Forscene interface is a web-based interface that you can access through your web browser, we will be exposing a way to allow you to either use our FileCatalyst applet or transfer agent to download the content to your machine. The ability to also set up an automated hot folder that's monitoring the source for high res as well as clips can be set up to download the content, so you don't have to manually go into the interface and download content. We can set it up so that you can automatically download the files as well.
Yeah, I think building on what you said there, Elton, I mean, right now we have publishing icons that are account by account specific. So for example, if somebody wanted an MPEG of a sequence that they've cut within Forscene in the interface right now, that target destination and button can be enabled on a specific production account. They basically take their sequence, drop it onto that icon, it does the conform, and you can basically right-click and download that content to your laptop. Obviously, that is not including the benefits of FileCatalyst, which we're hoping to, or which we will be doing going forward. So a pretty simplistic workflow. That's what we're aiming for going forward. So working in the same way.
Cool, thanks. Yeah, and another question is the setup. The question is, how would this all be set up in a customer environment? Jason, do you want to take that?
So right now what we're saying is that we would have the two servers, one as a FileCatalyst server and one as a Forscene server on premise. What we're looking forward to going forward is that we would be able to just run either FileCatalyst either on our infrastructure, or we'll just use it as an applet or web-based service and not actually have to have both servers running concurrently. Elton, that's pretty much our understanding at present?
Yeah, that's correct. So yeah, the FileCatalyst will be attached to Forscene server on premise. Users are still working on the Forscene cloud in terms of creating sequences and cuts and so on. And then based on your communication protocol between the cloud and your Forscene server, content is generated from the original files on premise, and then FileCatalyst can move that content based on the workflows or based on what the user is requesting to do. Yeah, give another few seconds for any more questions to come in, and then I think so we can wrap it up for the day.
Elton, I think without any other question coming in, I think the key point is that we've come up with the way that we would like presented to clients, and we're going to be demoing that and showing it at BVE and taking it forward to NAB. But the key to that is what do the clients experience and how do they want that presented, both within the Forscene and FileCatalyst interfaces. So it's not 100% set in stone. We certainly are able to adjust that based on feedback that we do get.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So, and that's a good thing about, FileCatalyst and as well as Forscene, we can adapt to various changing workflows. So, while we may have come up with this design, definitely we can adapt it to, meet your requirements in your workflows. So, if you think of other ways, or if you have the suggestions on how FileCatalyst and Forscene can better your workflows, by all means, feel free to get in touch with us. We'll be sending you an email after the webinar, thanking you for attending. But if you want to respond to that and ask us any questions related to this webinar, we'll be happy to answer them and so on, and give you more information, as well as if you're looking for a proof of concept, we can set that up for you. Yeah. So no more questions have come in, Jason, so I guess we can wrap it up for the day. So thank you very much once again for joining us on this February webinar. I would like to thank our partner, Forbidden Technologies, and Jason Cowan for taking the time to be a panelist on this webinar. We look forward to seeing you again at our next webinar. Jason?
Great. Thank you, Elton, and thank you for inviting us.
Yeah, most welcome.
Bye.
Bye.